Urgent Chiefs Kingdom fan, look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest Chiefs Kingdom news, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Bills connected as best trade destination for 72. $3 million. Star over the past few years, the Buffalo Bills have continually been just a piece or two away from a Super Bowl. Josh Allen and company made it all the way to the AFC Championship game last season before coming up short once again, this time to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Despite the heartbreaking loss, the Bills have been busy this offseason looking to finally get over the hump. Among their biggest offseason moves were the signings of Joey Bosa, defensive end Michael Hucht, wide receiver Joshua Palmer, and resigning running back Ty Johnson. All of those moves are solid, but Buffalo could use more. One of the biggest needs on the roster currently is help in the defensive secondary. Rasul Douglas is still a free agent and could be a candidate to be brought back. Or the Bills could consider making a much bigger move. Reed Moore Steelers could close the door on Aaron Rodgers' land 134 touchdown QB. Instead, former NFL player and current analyst Ryan Clark has an idea that he thinks Buffalo should pursue. He thinks a major trade for Miami Dolphins cornerback Jalen Ramsey would be a great fit for the Bills. You look at a team that are going to go into the season, or at least right now on their roster, with Dane Jackson and Christian Benford at the corner positions, and also at safety, Damar Hamlin and Taylor Rapp, Clark said. Jalen Ramsey is an extremely versatile player. I look at his versatility, his length, his ability to play in all the positions in the secondary, and I believe he's a plug-and-play starter at so many spots for the Buffalo Bills. He continued on, revealing that he thinks adding Ramsey could fix the main issue they lost to the Chiefs to end last season, and if you go back to the root of their problem in the AFC Championship, it wasn't that they got stopped on a two-point conversion on a tush-push or stopped on a fourth and won on a tush-push, he said. It's the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs that clearly couldn't score on anybody, as we saw the next week, were able to put up 32 points. Jalen Ramsey becomes an immediate upgrade at so many positions in that secondary, and it is time for Josh Allen to get over the hump in order to do that. The defense needs to ball. Ramsey is coming off of a 2024 season with the Dolphins that saw him play in 17 games, racking up 60 total tackles, a sack, 2 interceptions, and 11 defended passes. Even at 30 years old, Ramsey could very well be the missing piece in Buffalo. Hes worth taking a long look at. Pausing this news just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest Chiefs Kingdom news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now, let's get back to the news. Chiefs could fight with Ravens over veteran edge rusher. The Kansas City Chiefs and Baltimore Ravens are two of the best teams in the AFC, but they have some places to upgrade on their defensive lines. In a recent article, Last Word on Sports Anthony Palacios thinks that the reigning AFC North and West champions could target veteran edge rusher Jadeveon Clowney if the Carolina Panthers make him available in a trade. The Panthers are improving, but are probably a year away from being a serious playoff contender. So a 32-year-old edge rusher in the last year of a 2-year, $20 million deal should absolutely have a for sale sign on his back, Palacios writes. Clowney has spent his career as a hired gun. His next team will be his 7th in 12 NFL seasons. He can be a big boost to the defense of a contender, and they probably can handle a contract that has him due about $10 million this year. It would make sense for the Panthers to try and get what they can for him, as he will not be nearly as viable in a few years when they could be wanting to contend for the playoffs, but the Chiefs and Ravens are obviously in a winnow mindset, and have been for a long time. Clowney, once upon a time the no. 1 pick in his NFL draft class, had 9.5 sacks just 2 seasons ago with the Ravens, showing that he is still a solid option coming off the edge. So if Clowney at 32 comes free, a bidding war, maybe Gansi. Whichever team came out on top of this free agency battle would be getting a solid veteran presence, which is something that is very helpful if a team is looking to contend. Who will the Chiefs pick in round 1? 2025 Mock Draft Roundup 7.0 here's the latest look at who the experts think the Chiefs will draft on April 24. The 2025 NFL Draft is nearly here, and as the league prepares to gather in Green Bay on April 24th, the football-watching world is rife with mock drafts and projections as to how the first round will play out. Here's a look at who some of the latest mock drafts from around the web have the Chiefs selecting with the no .31 overall pick on April 24th, and for reference, previous roundups can be found below. Previous 1.02, .03, .04, .05, .06, The Athletic, Dane Brugler, April 16th, Ohio State OT, Josh Simmons. Dane Brugler from The Athletic has the Chiefs going with Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons at no .31 overall in his full 7-round mock draft. Here's more from Brugler. This played out perfectly for the Chiefs. Simmons has the talent to be in the OT1 conversation in this draft class. ESPN Mel Kiper Jr. Field Yates, April 15th. Oregon OT Josh Connerly Jr. ESPN's Mel Kiper. JR and Field Yates alternated making picks in their latest mock draft, which resulted in Yates sending Oregon offensive tackle Josh Connerly Jr. to the Chiefs. Here's what Yates wrote about the selection, what a coup this would be for Kansas City. The Chiefs must continue to address the offensive line even following the signing of Jalen Moore. Connerly was excellent last season as the frontside protector for Dylan Gabriel, allowing just 1 sack. He could eventually do that for Patrick Mahomes. Connerly is always in control and dependable. You are unable to interact with this content due to your cookie consent choices. You can enable cookies in the footer by selecting Cookie Settings. USA Today. Nate Davis, April 14th, Ohio State OT. Josh Simmons. Nate Davis from USA Today continued a popular trend by sending Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons to Kansas City. In his latest mock, here's what Davis had to say about Simmons, a large 6'5", 317 and very strong man, likely would have been a top 10 selection had he not suffered a torn patellar tendon last season. NFL.com. Mike Band, April 14th, Texas OT Kelvin Banks Jr. NFL.com's Mike Band, who compiles a research-driven mock, projects the Chiefs to trade up to no .24 overall in order to select Texas offensive lineman Kelvin Banks Jr. Here's more from Band. Just like in my first mock, the Chiefs trade up to no .24 to secure their long-term answer at left tackle, leapfrogging Houston, a team that could also target offensive line help at no .25. The last time the Chiefs came off a Lombardi Trophy-free season, GM Brett Veach and head coach Andy Reid made a similar move up the board to secure a need and draft cornerback Trent McDuffie. CBS Sports, Chris Trapasso, April 16th, LSU edge Braden Swinson. Chris Trapasso from CBS Sports sent LSU edge rusher Braden Swinson to the Chiefs in his latest mock. Here's more on the selection explosive, productive outside rusher from the SEC to give George Karlaftis a boost in Kansas City. NFL.com. Gennaro Felice, April 11, Marshall Edge Mike Green, NFL.com. Deputy editor Gennaro Felice has the Chiefs going with Marshall Edge rusher Mike Green in his latest mock. Here's more on the pick. The on-field production speaks for itself, as Green just led the nation with 17 sacks, and although many of those came against Sunbelt competition, he tallied 3 sacks and a bunch of pressures in non-conference games against Virginia Tech and Ohio State. A twitched-up edge rusher whose motor always runs hot. Green could be a steal for KC if he falls this far. Pro Football Focus, Jordan Plusher. April 14th, Ohio State OT Josh Simmons. The folks from PFF have the Chiefs selecting Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons in round 1. Here's more from there. Write-up. Simmons has the ideal size for an NFL tackle at 6'5" and 317 pounds with 33-inch arms. He had an injury-shortened season in 2024 but earned an 82.0 PFF pass blocking grade before getting hurt. Bleacher Report, Brent Sobleski, April 15th, Ohio State DT Tyleik Williams. Brent Sobleski from Bleacher Report has the Chiefs going with Ohio State defensive tackle Tyleik Williams in his latest mock. Here's what Sobleski wrote about Williams. With the offensive line semi-settled, the Chiefs can address the other side of the trenches by bringing in Ohio State's Tyleik Williams. At points, he was the most disruptive defensive lineman along the Buckeyes' loaded front. He can immediately slide in as the team's new OneTechnique.pro football network. April 16th, Ohio State OT. Josh Simmons Pro Football Network, like several others, sent Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons to Kansas City with the no. 31 overall pick. Here's what they wrote about the selection. This is the dream scenario for the Chiefs, who need a long-term solution at offensive tackle. Josh Simmons is a dynamic athlete and secure blocker who has fallen down boards because of his season-ending patellar tendon tear. Still, he has the polished technique, refined intelligence, and agile mobility to be a long-term starter for an NFL franchise. Chiefs dynamic duo join forces with future opening of 1587. Prime Steakhouse, the Kansas City Chiefs dynamic duo, is now taking their talents to the restaurant game with the opening of a new steakhouse. The Kansas City Chiefs' quest for a third straight Super Bowl victory came up painfully short when the team was taken to the woodshed this past February by the Philadelphia Eagles. The bid at creating a larger legacy may have failed, however. The team should be proud of everything they have accomplished, even in defeat. Two big reasons behind the success of the Chiefs have been quarterback Patrick Mahomes and tight end Travis Kelce, related Patriots great. Bill Belichick, lovely Jordan Hudson invited to WrestleMania event. The Mahomes-Kelce connection has become a legacy all on its own. It is hard to imagine one without the other. So what are two amazing athletes who have done it all supposed to do with their downtime? Open a restaurant, of course. According to a recent news release, Mahomes and Kelce are partners in a brand new steakhouse, 1587 Prime, that is set to open in downtown St. Louis, Missouri this summer. The restaurant will seat 238 patrons and will have plenty of references to the Chiefs throughout the two levels of the building. Now, it is time for all of us to predict what will be on the menu. Could we see something like Andy's fried green beans as an appetizer? Or maybe roast burro? That one will really get the Cincinnati Bengals fans talking. You know they went to the Super Bowl in 2022, right? And now, Chiefs fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for Chiefs. I'll be back any moment with more Chiefs Kingdom news.